Let's see if he can get that speed going with the Swirlite, but it's going to be Ranger v. Ranger. Plenty of danger here as gallenhsak is going in for that first pickup of Rocket Launcher. Not really going for the damage, but we'll be diving back in for the Heavy Armor and then presumably Railgun. Sib is going to know that, though, and he's collapsing on this Railgun really hard. Not quite committing to it. Yeah.
Sib with that hard delay on the Mega. It's still up. And he's going to get it now.
Like, he made the right read. He was like, okay, he's going to go for a rail. I can possibly catch him out, but he didn't have any weapons to do that with. Yeah, it would have been an interesting play maybe with starting shotgun or something like that where he could have done, you know, 90-90 and then it would have paid off. But, yeah, with no LG, it becomes very tricky to play that angle. Absolutely. So with Heavy Armor taken away here by gallenhsak, once again, we got 8 seconds to the Mega, and it's going to be a bit of a chase from the books here to it. Yeah, gallenhsak's going to hear the Tribal. He's got a rail. He's looking for the shot. Doesn't quite get it as the spawn's coming back up. So yeah, that delay is playing into gallenhsak's kind of caution here, moving in towards the pillar. Oh, great rail. Really good rail, and now he's got stack advantage. He's already got overstack on armor. He doesn't even need to be at this heavy. He just needs to do damage. And, yeah, now, oh no, that's a tough rocket. Really good LG, though, from gallenhsak, and Sib just cannot quite get the touch on the Heavy Armor. So it's going to be first frag going to gallenhsak. And a Nix down as a number 1. That's going to be a bit tough, but he needs these rails. He's not going to get the connections he needs. And that's going to be a relatively free Mega pickup with a lot of damage going to gallenhsak. Yeah, and I think the good thing is his health is pretty easy to come by. So he should be able to maintain his armor and health. And not a terrible stack, but I think he gave away a lot for the little bit of damage he did to sit there. He certainly ate a lot of machine gun bullets. And this is, as always, a tough angle to play from, especially versus Tribal. He's getting 2 great rails off, though, and Sib's going to have to leave. So yeah, he kind of got lucky in that fight as the Heavy Armor was taken away. Mega's back up, and gallenhsak, I mean, the most he can really hope for is looking for rail on the exit, but he's really loud here. Well, it's going to be difficult to mask his movement. That movement blunder was really costly because he just gave the precise timing of the Mega to gallenhsak. Yeah. If he had clean movement, gallenhsak would maybe have a guesstimate, but gallenhsak should know now it's at 6. Everybody dodging everything right now, like no damage until that last little bit of Tri-Bolt. The rails aren't quite doing gallenhsak the good it used to. Smart play by gallenhsak. Yeah. If he shot that last Tri-Bolt bolt, then he would have taken that orb and just melted face. And that rail just wanted the Mega, but he's not going for it just yet. I mean, like you said, he's got the timing on it, but he's looking for the frag more than anything else. Nice I love that Dire Orb. I'm going to be all in on this railgun. Nope, I'm getting that Mega after all, and it got him the Mega. Still cost of a rail. And a nice free shot there for gallenhsak. Even though he missed that rail, like that's a completely riskless rail. And if he does hit it, he guarantees the kill. And if he misses it, he still has heavy and a 75-point stack advantage. It's a win-win for him. And that's, you know, that's probably just some experience talking from him, you know, just knowing that he can create that type of situation. That being said, he's still looking okay here. Doesn't get the damage he needs. Oh, wow. I couldn't have imagined that one going any worse for gallenhsak, actually. Like, he shot off the rocket anyway, just covering the TP exit, but just mistimed it, so that's still a free Mega for Sib. And Sib is all in on a lot of these fights. gallenhsak looking for a way out, but not sure if Sib's going to go the same way. They're both so weak. Heavy Armor's going to be back up. gallenhsak's going to get the pickup. 10 seconds to Mega, and Sib is actually in a little bit more trouble. He's got to get some 25s first. Yeah, and that can be a really dangerous situation if you're the player doing all the damage. You could start to feel like, hey, I've done all this damage. You could do that. That works too. Yeah. I mean, that was a really clever usage of the orb to go for the orb, rocket jump if things go south, and you can still go for the teleport. I wanted to see that happen, but no, Sib's reactions with the Zone Dire orb, a little bit too deadly. But gallenhsak back up on Swirlite. We're going to see some great movement here, and keeping my eyes on gallenhsak just because we don't get to see this too often. Yeah, I think it's a treat anytime you get to see him or Boo, you know, go to work. He's going to work right now. I mean, wow, orbital vomit, but we got gallenhsak drop down to 37 health. Going to be able to get the pickup here for the Mega, as Sib is still on the Ranger, but he doesn't have an orb now, and gallenhsak is looking to collapse, playing the teleporter game, and not quite getting the results from it. Oh, and the vertical rail right through. That was really, really close. I mean, he played that about as close as he could. And the good thing about gallenhsak is that he's got the timing. He knows that he's always got that to fall back on, and eventually he'll hit the shots. There it is. It's not over yet, buddy. Yeah, there's still one more. You're patting yourself on the back a little bit too early. Uh-oh. You have won rounds before, right?
Did he just cipher?
Maybe. And against
GG.
Sib with a BGA, like he's already blown his ability, but
ooh, that could have ended really poorly if BJ had rushed him with double shotgun or something. That could have been really, really bad. But
the fact that he spawned with the machine gun actually did gallenhsak a lot of favors because that was an error, but it got him the round anyway.
Round 2, fight.
Nothing and everything makes sense.
Yeah, you know,
there's that aggression play.
1 and 1 is 2, 1 more is 3. That's his quick math.
Quick maths, that's right.
Yeah. Nice, waiting for the rail. And Sib, honestly, just kind of walking into it. He's at 50 health with the Ghost Walk available, but it puts him in a bit of a dangerous situation.
Zone.
Yeah, where he might just have to use it to stay alive. But he's able to take away the heavy. He's able to fake that back out and discern that, okay, that's going to be the safe side of the map.
That was a really, really interesting decision by gallenhsak. I think he kind of read that he could get 150 total hit points from dropping and then going to Mega. But I don't know. Maybe I would have pushed and done some damage to Nyx there just to see. You know she hadn't grabbed Mega. You know she doesn't have heavy. And you've already railed her once. So how healthy can she possibly be? Force that Ghost Walk. But I think at the end of the day, he made kind of the conservative play. And, and you never really hurt yourself doing that.
And also, I mean, going for the Mega, if you're right and he's at Mega, then you get the punish. If you're wrong and he went to heavy, then you can generally collapse from Mega to heavy and cover a lot more angles.
That's true.
Do some damage. Oh, yeah, there's the audio cues for the armor downstairs. There's the Ghost Walk, but gallenhsak is tracking pretty well. Just needs to not turn his back. Oh, Sib, so weak there, but barely getting away back to pillars.
Well, and now gallenhsak basically has full control of the map. I mean, you look at he's got the medium champ, he's got the higher stack potential, and Sib hasn't even been able to get himself any armor. He's about to get a little bit, but gallenhsak knows he's there.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Ghost Walk was just about to come up as well, and that is going to be a little bit of retribution for gallenhsak from Sib's earlier dire aura. But speaking of, now we got him on his own Ranger, but gallenhsak is going to be really happy to have, stack timing on this next Mega and the first frag advantage. But there's Sib raining down the rockets from above, making this crossover to the Mega side not so trivial for gallenhsak.
Yeah, and I think gallenhsak now, he's got to decide, does he want to try and win this on Ranger, or does he want to, maybe force null in, get Sib stacked down, and come back with either Athena or Sorlag. I mean,
gotta respect the orb, so looking for this long-range damage, I certainly do appreciate it, even though it means giving Sib a lot of items and getting caught here a little bit at the rocket launcher, looking for that rail, but missing that one. That is almost it, and gallenhsak kills himself. Neat.
That little circle he did with his mouse actually kind of wound up helping him because it put him at the angle to hit the rocket when Sib dropped. I don't think he expected Sib to just drop right into it and got him a little extra damage, but Sib's still not worse for wear compared to him.
I mean, all gallenhsak had to do was not die for another 3 minutes, man. Come on. That's just the name of the game. But now we got gallenhsak.
Not dying is really hard.
It's, could be an ordeal, but we got gallenhsak on the Sorlag. We hear multiple rocket jumps to get up to the rail.
Well, sometimes you just want to make sure you get it right.
Yeah. Mega's going to be a clean sweep here. gallenhsak looking for the rail, but he eats a rocket from all the way downtown. All right.
And I'll be curious to see if either of these players commit anytime soon. It's kind of playing out to be a very slow game, and it's entirely JEHAR's fault. He said it was going to be fast, and here we are.
Yeah, I guess so.
But that's okay. We'll forgive him. But I think Sib should commit soon, but he may not. That's one of the advantages of playing a tank that players are not used to playing against, is they may not perceive how lit you actually are in certain situations and let you have too much of a leash, or in Sorlag's case, a tail.
Absolutely. I mean, that was really good spit work out of gallenhsak, both in real life and in the game. But we got gallenhsak now just cruising back on through for the Mega pickup and a little bit of armor. Looking for the rail angle on the heavy. Actually, no, he was denying the angle. He thought, all right, if Sib's on bridge, if he's down at heavy, I don't want any part of it. I just want to get my hourglasses and get out of here.
Well, and now, now you have both players effectively, I would say roughly even stacked, even though, the tank has more health. Not anymore.
Oh, no.
Okay.
A little bit out of range for that one, and Sib's orbs are going to be incredibly consistent here. Going to be taking a little bit of damage there from the ticks, but... Oh, what? An Athena all of a sudden with the rail, and Sib getting a great shot, nearly putting Athena into Scragland, but we got gallenhsak right back in here, really wants to take this round home.
Scragland, is that annexed?
You know, depends on the year.
Okay.
Yeah, 1812, it's all good. Nice.
So gallenhsak has the read. It's just, will he read Sib's movement properly? He knows where he should be. And I think Sib's going to get himself around here.
Oof. Just waiting it out, but that'll tie things back up 1-1. And so far, I mean, the most critical thing is some of these orbs coming out of Sib. So yeah, gallenhsak's got to be really careful about that Ranger. He's, you know, riding high on being able to take down a Nyx maybe in the first frag, but actually Sib's spawning as Ranger this time around. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on him as we've got gallenhsak actually orbing across the map for the pickup of rockets, making it a little bit more ambiguous for Sib. I mean, he's only going to have LG and nails here. He hasn't picked up Mega. He hasn't gotten anything. He's just getting caught in a fight that doesn't do him a lot of good. And that orb, he had to do some like geometrical homework there. Like, if I orb just to the jump pad, is that enough to get me that Mega safely? It almost was.
That was
very nearly.
really close. And I think the real impressive thing there was gallenhsak's movement being so crisp. It's so easy to hit like an angle there that's weird or clip a wall, and he just was perfectly in position to hit that rocket. And that's very difficult to do when you know you have them so low. It's tough to kind of keep your cool.
Absolutely, and that's where gallenhsak is going to be looking for all the 25s he can get, making sure he's got the dire orb back up for a quick escape if need be. Doesn't have a rail here, so we can't really keep Sib off his back down this long corridor, but needs to be safe from a full frontal.
Yeah, and I think when you have full control with Nyx in this type of situation, the one thing you can't afford to do is eat a rail, which is why you didn't see Sib kind of commit to that catwalk fight. You just don't want to give him a free, easy angle that's, you know, probably a 50% rail shot for a good player. Really good positioning. And
but what you are looking for as a Nyx is a good LG trap, and
not using your ult.
And that was one of the best ones I've seen. And yeah, you're absolutely right. He's still got Ghost Walk back up, and so Sib 100-100 can come back in here for the Mega. And even if gallenhsak shows up, and even if he gets the dot on him, he can pop the Ghost Walk and look for this frag. But
he doesn't even care right now.
Yeah, he's still going in for it. gallenhsak is just getting bounced around like a pinball. And even with the movement, it's not doing him a lot of good. Oh, but a bit of a miscommunication on who was going which direction there, but Sib figured it out and shut down gallenhsak.
You got to make sure you comm properly.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think Sib did a really good job of like knowing his limit and knowing exactly when to use that ult to keep himself safe. It's very tempting to just pop it immediately, and unfortunately, he didn't have his ult to save him there.
Yeah, that one got a little bit more awkward. But now Sib spawning as a BJ across pillars, that could be dangerous by itself. gallenhsak just taking the Mega and bouncing out. 6 seconds to the heavy, and Sib can make a pretty strong case for being there. He's got railgun already.
He's got double. gallenhsak has double grapple here, which is not a bad situation for him.
And he's also got rockets I'm actually a little bit surprised by.
I think he rocket jumped to rail.
Okay.
Okay, so we got Sib with all three, and gallenhsak with all three. Rocket, LG, and rail. And right now, I think what it's going to come down to is, obviously, who hits the first gauntlet.
Yeah, and gallenhsak could just cross pillars so quickly, but just playing it low and slow in case Sib wanted to go back through the teleporter. And Sib just avoiding this fight as much as possible, but he's going to be spotted going to bridge. Not quite committing to it. 5 seconds to armor, and now gallenhsak's revealed his own position, and Sib just pushes in like, oh, there you are, cool. Let me just walk right through your spam and try to get a rail off.
Yeah, I mean, high percentage plays, you know.
Yeah.
And then gallenhsak with the nice rail. He should hunt this. I think, you know, I think he should. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with giving Sib the time of day to back off, but, you know, he knows he's lit. He didn't hear him drop. He can only be one place, and that's behind you where you didn't look.
He heard the pitter-patter as well, but yeah, didn't really respond to it, just going, all right, too spoopy for me, just going to go get myself a Mega. Oh, and the play on the hourglasses, and Sib is completely caught off guard, but there's no follow-up from gallenhsak. He's not willing to drop for the rail, and I can't really blame him there. If he had made that jump, oh, actually puts him in a perfect spot for the LG stairs. Just cannot quite get that angle.
And it's tough when you're playing a squishy and you know, like,
yeah,
the decay really does put you in a vulnerable position. So the longer you stay in that fight, the worse your chances are if you actually push. But now, you know, when you just get all the major items, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I mean, he's really starving Sib out here, but Sib's still at 100-100.
And he's
still
got
a bit of
that
armor to chew through. Yes.
Yeah, that double LG versus even the fastest of Athenas can be
certainly doesn't want to
nasty.
get caught here. So 5 seconds to heavy. And gallenhsak's kind of all in on this. He's getting very close range, totally opposite of what we just saw, but he's going in here for the rails. He's got the one hit off so far. And that's going to be a good denial of the aggression here on the Mega, but gallenhsak gets almost stuck on the door frame. Nerf door frames.
Yeah, they've got to do something about those door frames. Well, for the third round in a row, we're going to 5 minutes.
I guess so, yeah. I certainly don't know how to read them.
This is like my punishment for that one.
You're going to be working that one off for a while, I think.
No,
yeah. Chance doesn't even come back to the scene.
He retired.
He played more Quake in one day than most of us have ever. But Sib and gallenhsak both reeling from that last fight, taking a lot of damage either way. Mega's back up. And on the same token that gallenhsak needs that Mega, Sib knows that he cannot afford to show up for it. Oh, but this rail is going to open things up a lot. Sib is going to really have a tough time escaping this fight. He's pushing in, though, trying to make it happen with the LG. gallenhsak, 27 HP, using the grappling hook to make some distance, but you can hear him down by the teleporter.
I don't know if gallenhsak knew that he left that lower green armor up, but he has quite a bit of stack to fall back on here. If he would rather do that than maybe stay for this fight. It sounds like that's
Sib popped it a little bit early.
He's practicing for the PTS where you have to pop it early.
All right, so gallenhsak able to get that next Mega as well, and that gives him enough time to at least look at the exit of this heavy. And potentially catch Sib here again. The same corner, same trap, but a lot more damage going either way here. But these rockets coming out of Sib!
Wow.
What was that?
That was really...
He was caught completely dead to rights, and every rocket he threw out just popped, pinned him to the wall, and stuck him dead. Jeez.
And then he pulled out his gauntlet like we were watching his point of view, but we weren't. Sorry, Sid.
That is insane. All right, so we're going to be getting into match point for Sib here on DM6, and what a great opening here, looking for more consistent rockets, but I guess he spent them all there in that last round.
Yeah, I think their decision to kind of stick with their opening champs tells you a lot about their confidence. Normally the swing round 3, some good movement from Sib there, so a nice nail jump combo. But I think round 3 going into round 4 is where you tend to see people switching up their first champs if they're not feeling like they're doing exactly what they're supposed to. And obviously, gallenhsak's not feeling too terrible about his Ranger play. I don't feel like he's played it particularly bad. So
right.
Not a bad decision to stick with it. Maybe just some tough luck the 2 rounds he's lost.
But without a frag here in the first minutes of, again, match point for Sib, he's able to take away... Oh, nice movement there with the plasma gun. Yeah, fancy stuff. The kind of thing you can afford when your opponent's on clearly the other side of the map, but gallenhsak is going to have a pretty good bout of armor and plenty of Mega. Going to be a strong force on the rail, but not really sticking with it to see if Sib wants to show up. Ooh, all right. Not a bad rocket from across the map, and it kind of messed up the movement enough, but a good responsive rail. gallenhsak's coming back in here strong for the heavy. Oh, that rocket nearly popped him off completely, but the defensive damage is so good that Sib has got to leave completely here. So Mega will be back up, and Sib just cannot afford to go.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Sib because Ranger still has his orb to kind of close ground if he does decide to invis. What I'd like to see gallenhsak do here is go to the one place on the map that Sib could possibly be at this point and try and do some damage. Try and do something before that ghost wall pops. Sib doing a really good job of not staying on that green armor. It's very tempting to do that, and a lot of times all it does is give your opponent your position, and also if you don't have the precise timing, you don't know when it's going to spawn, so you don't know exactly when your opponent's going to have your position. Good rail from both players there. gallenhsak still, with the stack advantage, it's tough for him to really lose this fight unless he takes too many unanswered shots. Sib trying to make that happen.
He's really depending on that rail to save his life, and even with the Ghost Block, oh, wow. That was like the first frame he came out of Ghost Block, he got that rail off. He's been watching a lot of claws, yeah.
No, all he has to do is hit 4 vertical rails in a row.
That's all. But he's done things like that before then. Even those rockets were nearly so deadly. Oh. But nothing like this is hitting, and that's giving gallenhsak a lot of reason just to push on forward, both physically and with the Dire Orb. Just like, all right, use your phase shift already. Get out of here. Down to 33 HP, and Sib is reeling.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing a lot from gallenhsak, and maybe the one area of improvement he could kind of touch up on is he's not closing frags on Sib. He's getting Sib very, very low, and honestly, Sib isn't playing all that slippery. Sib is going to very predictable positions, and I think gallenhsak may just not be confident in his aim. confident enough to push in and close the gap there. So hopefully we see him, improve on that as the game goes on. Otherwise, it could be a short day for him.
At what point do you wonder, okay, I'm a Nyx. Do I want to have to kill, 2 or 3 champions, or can I just wait until, things are relatively close to the wire and just go for the one frag? But eating rails like this is going to
make that decision for you.
That timeline a little bit up. And I'm not sure if you meant to get across that gap, but actually not getting across probably saved his life.
Tactical.
Yeah. I'll give that one to him because, yeah, going across there, he would have been in trouble before the Mega was obtainable.
I mean, that would have been a really smart kind of read movement play. If you hear maybe Ranger drop, then you go ahead and press the double tap and get the second jump up to Mega. That might have been what he was trying to do. And that's not a terrible idea in that type of situation. I mean, if you're going to make the wrong choice, I'm going to punish you for it.
Well, he's back up top bridge, and he's now back in a position where he's looking for a little bit of damage. Oh, it's a long-range orb, a really telegraphed one that gives Sib the opportunity for that first rocket, and a great rail around the corner through the pillars. And now gallenhsak, I mean, even with the pickup of the Mega, is going to be a little bit stuck here. But on the same token, Sib's going to have to use that phase shift defensively or aggressively.
Something.
Bit of a question mark there, yeah.
It's like he decided halfway through. He's like, wait a minute, this is a
okay. From downtown.
That was toasty.
That was a very long-range Dire orb, and again, they've been trading them back and forth here. They've both been fantastic, and even another one coming out of Sib. But that's going to be one frag up for gallenhsak with 47 HP if he's not caught here at the small armor, and he's looking a little bit nervous about it. It could happen, though. One more rail would do it. There it is from Sib, and he made the shot. See, Rafa, it's that easy. We're going to be going into sudden death here, and again, potentially Sib could turn this all back around and get this map in the bag.
That was really, really clutch rail right there by Sib to kind of close that out. I mean, you basically have to make the decision, do I want to go MG or do I want to go rail here? And he decided to go for the glory play, and it paid off. Some fragmented material. I think you're supposed to grab the health there on that one. I'm not sure, though.
And yeah, Sib's looking a little bit shaken here. But his rails are just as solid as always, but he is always just one rail away from being dead, taking away 25s just to keep himself away from the danger zone. But right now, he's got to be as ambiguous as possible. But there's a spit frag, and QOL. All right. Have not seen that in some time.
And another 5-minute round.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is Blood Covenant. That does have an effect. But, geez, we're going into a 5th round.
I mean, this is definitely as good of a game as I expected.
Yeah.
Especially on DM6. I think both of these players are pretty strong. Starting with the Sorlag.
Yeah, here we go.
Man.
Fresh out of the gate. So gallenhsak,
curveball for you, buddy.
A ton of speed, and actually if he went towards heavy right there, that would have been a pickup. And it might be at least aggression here with the pickup of the rail, forcing the Ghost Walk. Sib is down to 50 HP. And even if he wants like any of these 25s, he's going to be in trouble.
It's just the high quality movement. As soon as I say that, he runs into a pillar. But I mean, just this is what you kind of expect.
Yeah.
Going to expect from gallenhsak is just, really good movement, really good map control, really good fundamental Quake. And now it's showing, and it might wind up paying off for him here. I mean, Sib's not exactly looking like he's setting the world on fire with his stack right now.
Well,
so.
We'll see how it plays out, Cotton. But gallenhsak maintaining some good speed here, and hopefully for him, that means a double pickup of the items. We have a solid like 7-second split of Mega and Heavy. He's going to be hatching that egg on the Mega just a little bit here, stabbing out with an initial rail, and even with the traded rail, it still does gallenhsak a lot of good. It makes the decision for Sib to show up at this Heavy a lot more difficult.
And he knows when that green is. He heard it last time, but he didn't drop on it.
And so now there's the Heavy back up, and yeah, gallenhsak can just complete the lap, complete the round, and take full control. And up against a Nyx that gives him so much to work with. Rocket jumping right into it. That Vomit's going to be canceled by the Ghost Walk, but now Sib won't have that escape route, and will just be depending on his rails and LG.
And I think gallenhsak, going up the pad with the rail there's a little more risky, but I think he kind of knows in this situation, like, this is my chance to get rid of his Nyx, and I need to capitalize. He's got 6 seconds to Ghost Walk as this fight begins, and it's really close if Sib decides to stay in this. He's safe now. He's got his ult, but one rocket if he mistimes it, and he's in big trouble.
And that rail between the legs, and gallenhsak's not going to make the read about the Directionality of that Nyx and Sib's rails are just on point here. 5 seconds to Mega, and I don't think there's a whole lot to break gallenhsak away from his lapping the items, but yeah, he's got to be a little bit tight on his timing here. Doesn't have all the time in the world to get back over towards Heavy. Well, again, I forget. He's sort of like, he's that fast, so yeah, for him, that's plenty of time.
Yeah, he tried the timing play there. I'll appreciate that. That could have worked out well.
Geez.
What a rocket. Oh, man.
So yeah, kids, the real secret to the Sorlag vomit is just, you know, wiggle your mouse around as much as possible.
But not when you LG. That doesn't work.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah. That's over.
Parkinson's can be cured. We
was.
believe, yeah. All right, but I mean, gallenhsak is just back in a spot where you're kind of doing the laps, and the Dire Orb could end that all very quickly. But ironically enough, I mean, if you're just doing laps, taking away items, it gives your opponent a lot of time to just, you know where you're going to be at and know what side of the map is safe. And so gallenhsak is going to have to be the one to potentially give up some item control in order to force a frag. But right now, he's one frag up. That's a very special circumstance in Quake Champions Duel, and he's going to be wanting to hold on to that.
Yeah, I think gallenhsak took about 8 or 9 seconds to decide which weapon he wanted to actually use in that last fight. I mean, he went rail to LG to machine gun to rail, and all the while Sib doing chip damage, taking a lot of his stack off. Fortunately, he was able to kind of recoup a little bit with the light armor, but things like that can prove costly, but didn't this time.
Yeah,
and that's a good feeling. It feels good.
So the main point of stress right now has got to be Sib's Dire Orb, because I mean gallenhsak is going to have this nearly 200 stack, but it won't account for much if Sib can get in close with that orb, or even from pretty far away, as we've already seen this round. But gallenhsak going in for a little bit of spit damage, not quite getting it. 4 seconds to Heavy, and
Wall got it, though.
gallenhsak is still here. Trading off the rails, and even a trade is going to be good here. Oh, and Sib walks into the spit! Can he get a 25? No! He stepped a pinky toe into the vomit, couldn't shake it off, and now Sib is down to a BJ. Yikes. That's not how you want to go.
Oh, man. That's tough.
Oh, and he's, yeah, getting popped and locked down here in mid. Could it be 3? Oh, no. Sorlag is back, baby, and so is gallenhsak, at least in the first map here of the quarterfinals. gallenhsak taking it away, and I appreciate that Sib is saying GG now. You kind of have to about a display like that. So we're going to be going into the next map here pretty soon. I don't know if we're going to be seeing more Sorlag, but
I hope so. That was very entertaining.
It is Veil, so
it was so funny because the spit looked so bad when he did it. I was like, of all the places he could whiff, he just whiffed into the sidewall that like shouldn't matter. But apparently, like the one little tip was right on the edge there, and that's all he needed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that one was like from below. It was yeah. Again, going back to just like wiggling your mouse back and forth, get maximum coverage, make sure that they hit that dot. Of course, a lot of the things that we're saying are gonna be totally moot in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but that was actually the dot on
it's down to 5,
still
right?
10 damage.
Is it still 10 damage? Okay,
yeah.
wow.
It's 15 for the direct, but it's still decent damage on touch.
Okay,
so it's not bad. I mean,
take notes, kids. Yeah,
that was. I think that was so entertaining because he got the armor.
Right.
And it was like, oh, just drop for the health. You know, you kept waiting for him to drop for the health, and then it didn't happen, and you were like, oh no, he got greedy. And uh-oh. I like it.
Yeah, so we got Keel coming out. We got Rangers, of course, and gallenhsak is sticking with the Sorlag on Veil of Nath for map 2. It's going to be, of course, Galena and a clutch coming out from Sib. Okay, finally. I was wondering where that Sib clutch was.
That double tank meta on Veil is pretty strong against...
Do you clutch players kind of have like a little bit of animosity there?
No, I think clutch in general, he's kind of gone through a lot of phases.
Yeah.
And, you know, in general... There's some maps where he's really fun to play and very effective, and then there's other maps where he's not, and you just know that, you know, going in that it's if people ban him against you, a lot of times it's more of an inhibitor for them than it is for you, because you know he's going to be banned, so you practice other things all the time.
I was going to say that with everything that's happened to Clutch, like patch-wise, even though he's like really, really good on paper right now and not much of a balance concern.
Uh-oh.
The fact that I think we're still in warm-up, right?
No, I think that was
really?
live.
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so an explosive beginning to Veil of Nath. This is how that works sometimes. But people have played against Clutch so much, and you know this, where even if Clutch is like perfectly balanced, everybody's played against so much Clutch that everybody kind of knows how to handle them.
Yes. Or has some sort of a plan as to what they should do. Whether or not it always works out is kind of up in the air. But I think I agree with that sentiment. Like, at some point, it's going to change because abilities are going to be nerfed, and I think a lot of people's counter plans involve abilities to some degree.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be interesting when the damage dealing abilities get nerfed. But for now, it's, you know, he's a strong pick on some maps. He's a really bad pick on others. And Sib's got a good one. So.
And strong as always, we've got the starter shotgun finishing off not only the Ranger, but the Swarlag as well. So there's Sib getting the pickup for the heavy armor. Wondering where that Galena went. Oh,
right in front of me.
There you are. Great. Down you go.
And this is Sib's map pick, and I do believe it's one of Gallenhsak's least favorite maps.
Yeah.
So this could be a quicken
Could be. I mean,
to the last one.
It's interesting on Quake Champions because you say that, okay, there are spawns that mean you get into a fight very, very quickly, but both players know what the other spawn is, so it's kind of up to them whether or not they want to get into the mosh pit right away or not.
Yeah, I think you've said something to me in the past, which is an interesting point in that, like, one of the interesting things about having 5-round duel is that you have to make that choice 5 times.
Yeah.
You have to make that call of, do you want to aggress this? Do you want to do something really passive, cheeky, whatever? And I think that does add, you know, CP orbs, yeah.
Especially when sometimes you get the same spawn 5 times.
Hey, that does happen. This is a map that does happen.
Yeah.
On. And I think as a player, you need to know that and manage the set accordingly. Like,
right.
It's tough in something like a best of 1, but in a best of 3, you have to manage your emotions, know it can happen to you, know it can happen to them, and make sure you're playing the other 2 maps, you know, completely up to snuff.
And it's always fresh because, you know, all right,
oh, wow.
literally 30 seconds ago, I spawned LG, rushed him here, and I died because I did this. I don't need to do it again. Or do you? Or you just think this time things are going to go differently. This time it's going to work. And
yes.
That time, Sib's LG has got the job done. gallenhsak down to the Swarlag once again. Hopefully getting some speed out of the gate here. Really good LG as Sib is now moving his way back over towards the Mega. Didn't quite make the rocket jump to it.
Ruh-roh.
Giving that Mega to gallenhsak. The whole time, though, I don't think Sib was spotted. Like, the whole time he was falling down, it was in complete silence. But no, he's been caught here now, taking away a 25 back over towards the heavy. And, of course, gallenhsak's going to be closing. I mean, that was kind of the play from Sib. It was like, okay, yeah, he's going to drop down on me. I can go for the orb. But he's going to get caught out at the small armor, and gallenhsak is going to be pushing Sib down to a very large champion indeed. A little bit smaller, though. More of a micro machine.
He's beefy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, he's a big boy, and that's okay. He's got the shield, and there you go. That's a good move by gallenhsak. I think that's kind of an underrated skill to use to get away from Clutch.
Yeah.
Is the movement. A lot of people trying to confront Clutch right away. It's good.
It was a little bit messy from gallenhsak, but he's still running away and kiting Sib just barely, trying to take away, well, just one of the 25s, and trying to turn back around. I appreciate it. Like, do enough damage to get him off my back and thinking about something else, but Sib's persistence gave him the frag, and, well, gallenhsak's down to Galena now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the kind of the unknown factors of playing Clutch that a lot of people don't understand is, you know, most of your fights versus good players, they have escape plan A, B, C, and D. So it's more about making the right read than it is just popping the shield right, you know, at the perfect time. I mean,
you
as
say
he does that,
as we have the shield popped at a pretty damn good time. Not good timing on the heavy armor though, so he's going to be a little bit weaker. And if he dies because of this, I am going to be amused. But Sib's playing it fairly conservatively. What?
Wow,
he got 54 damage from that angle. Okay, it's great. Oh my God!
Wow, really well played.
Jeez. Completely shut him down. Yeah, I want to see that rocket again. I want to see that rail again. What a great double play out of Sib, baiting the armor that he failed to pick up. That's pretty next level.
Yeah, and I think if you're gallenhsak at this point, you just kind of hope. Sib's gotten the wrong side of the map spawn 3 times in a row, and he's still kind of owning him. So I think gallenhsak, he might mentally kind of decompress and don't rein it in. Don't give it up, but like understand that maybe he's outclassing you on this map, and don't take that into the next map at this point. Just make sure you're still focused and doing what you're supposed to do, time items, make sure you're still sharp. Because at this point, I think Sib has showed that he can outclass most people on Veil of Now. Oof. What a rocket. What a second rocket, too.
I was about to say, you're writing him off already, Hum, and then, yeah, 2 solid rockets like that, can't blame him. But there's the ambient spits kind of doing the job. Also giving him that...
oh, no.
The ticks. Do you think he's ticked off?
I think that probably tickled the wrong. That tickled his funny bone a little bit. Oh, jeez.
Man. There's the revenge of Sorlag once again. So 2 frags very quickly. We got Sib back up on a keel, and that's where the grenades could certainly, add some vitamin C to his diet. But gallenhsak's gonna have to come through small armor. And yeah, if you're a heavy champion, you do want to be taking advantage of the fact that there's like what 4 small armors on the map. You want to take them all.
No, he's just hitting everything at the moment, and that's. He was like, "Screw you, DOOI, you're wrong." No, but I think he probably has loosened himself up a little bit and said, hey, he's obviously playing really well this map.
Oh, wow. But Sib pulling out these rail angles like nothing.
These rails from Sib on this map are just pretty much perfect. Little whiff, but good grenade. Good idea with the grenade there. If gallenhsak was in fact waiting for the
wow.
Okay. If gallenhsak was in fact waiting for the Q, go ahead and toss a grenade on the rocket launcher just in case.
That's what you want to see out of Keel. You're not spamming them. You're using them like well within LG range, and you do have to flick a little bit. Like you watch his aim, and it's like, okay, you have to adjust, then go for the rocket or the LG. But it does all the damage, and that's going to be 3-0. Sib just showing that, hey, Veil of Now is a contentious map, but you have to practice it. You have to internalize it, or I'm going to turn your internals into externals.
I think Sib is just really, really good at that map. I mean, I think, his knowledge of the angles, damage output is really, really high level. Particularly in NA, like within the players here. So seeing him kind of put on that dominant performance against a really good player. And even when he got maybe the wrong side of the map a few times in a row, it was like, it doesn't matter, I'm still winning these rounds. And I mean, gallenhsak had every advantage that last round. He had 2 champs up, his best champion. I mean, what more could he have asked for? And Sib said, you can have some grenades.
Yeah.
And he didn't know he wanted them, but he wanted them really
It's so
badly.
easy to go up against a lot of people who play Keel and realize, like, okay, yeah, he's got a small hitbox for being a heavy champion. He's going to have a lot of armor, so he's going to be tough to take down. But I don't maybe need to respect the grenades all that much because a lot of players do spam them, even at a pretty high level. But that was pretty surgical coming out of Sid.
Yeah, those combos that we saw, particularly that last one where he did 2 combos with the grenades, that's a lot of...
Feels good.
Well,
if you've never done that to somebody, it feels amazing.
It feels good when you do it to them. It doesn't feel good when it gets done to you.
I mean,
that's okay.
That's the history of Quake, really. But we're going to be going into our 3rd map, Corrupted Keep. We do have Sorlag coming back out. We have Clutch coming back out. And, of course, BG on Corrupted Keep is a big deal. Let's see if Sid goes for a pick of himself. Now he's going for the Galena. Okay, cool.
I've got to give Sib the advantage here. I think Sib is one of the better Corrupted Keep players, and I think gallenhsak is one of the not better Corrupted Keep players in America, at least at the top.
So why didn't he toss it?
Because he probably tossed... I'm surprised he tossed Runes of Sarnath, but I think he loved Ruins when he had Anarchy, and he doesn't have it anymore, so that's probably why he... didn't pick Runes of Sarnath.
If Vu's out there watching, I'm sure he feels you're paying gallenhsak.
And he probably didn't want to play ZTN versus someone like Sib, who's very ability heavy, who could use those corners and those angles to kind of do a lot of damage.
Absolutely, but we are starting off here as a Sorlag for gallenhsak, and using that speed to not only capitalize on the heavy armor, but also a rocket launcher very quickly. And so that means that most of these fights aren't going to be happening at the rocket launcher right away just because of that speed. But gallenhsak is showing some good awareness of not only not only the totems, but just the machine gun damage needed to take down Sib. And I like that ragdoll raining down from the skies.
Well, and gallenhsak did a really good job of putting himself in the one position, and Sib gets away with that with no ult usage, which is a big advantage, unless gallenhsak can tell him.
Clutch shock, Dinosaur Hunter for sure. Yeah, that was good shotgun work.
Yeah, I think he put himself in a really good position going to the top of the statue to rain rockets. Like, he gave himself the high ground early in the fight, where Sib might have expected a slightly different engagement, and I think it kind of caught Sib off guard there.
But Sib could be holding on to a great armor stack, and of course gallenhsak with that orb is going to be a little bit dangerous for Sib to hold down the height advantage like this. Well, he's kind of baiting for that dire orb, and yeah, he's even sticking out a little bit more like, come on, just throw out your orb. I don't really want to frag you right now. It would be nice if I did, obviously, but it'd be better if I got that orb. He got no information off that rocket, so that's a free mega for gallenhsak there.
Yeah, and I think he did hear gallenhsak, so he at least, you know, heard the mega, but I think if you're...
What?
Well,
why would you... That's lava, buddy. That is lava.
The floor is lava.
Literally. That's not an orb that he needed to commit to. And even Sib was looking a little surprised, like, really?
Wow.
You okay, all right. Neat.
Okay.
Actually, I think he backed away around the corner because he expected the lava to finish him off. It's like, okay, I guess I'll do the dirty work here.
Yeah, no, he thought about the drill kill, but he's like, the lava kill is better.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to just timing the shotgun, but Sib's dropping a shield in favor of the mining laser. gallenhsak is barely getting out of there. Take away the boneyard health and maybe show up here for the mega. Well, he's here regardless whether or not he can afford to be. And there's the first round going to Sib. Like you said, Sib pretty damn handy on Corrupted Keep.
Yeah, he's very dominant, particularly with clutch. And I think he's doing the right thing, playing something that's very consistent and stable before clutch. Because clutch can put you in some awkward situations and cause some things to not go right. So playing something real stable like Galena gives him a better shot at kind of making a presence in the map before he even has to go to that big robot.
Absolutely. So as we're getting into the next round here, Sib's going to be starting off as Galena, and yeah, I mean...
What? Another awkward fight. Don't do it, no!
Yeah, but the dots nearly did it. Oh, and the
that was really
totem
close.
Disappears just at the right moment. But yeah, this is going to be shotgun. gallenhsak just
time?
doesn't have the health for it, though.
Every time? I mean, hey, it's a good read by Sib, and I think Sib, that's probably part of his game plan, is eliminate the Sorlag, make him play something that is not quite as... Maybe dodge off the map once or twice. I mean, you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, things can get crazy.
And that just happened. But do you think gallenhsak is having a better or a worse time for having banned Death Knight instead of clutch?
Better.
Okay.
I still think for someone like Sib, okay, Sib really wants to force a very like all-in type. You have to commit to this fight. You have no choice.
Right.
And I think clutch. You still, with movement like gallenhsak, you still have the capacity to get away.
Right.
If you botch your movement, you're going to die. But, like, DK can eliminate you without you botching your movement, I guess. And I think gallenhsak's playing this like, I'm going to make you beat me. And if you do, then I'll tip my cap. But if you don't, well, I made the right call. I think that's a big sign of respect for Sib because it really... You see a lot of players play Death Knight, but it's not so oppressive that maybe you would ban it against everybody, but versus Sib, it's like almost a no-brainer for me. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to mess with it.
I can certainly appreciate that, but gallenhsak is looking a little bit stronger here in the next round. Looking for just the corner plays here and putting himself in a spot where, yeah, even the tribal's not going to be too much of a problem. The orb play there, 31 HP left for Sib, not quite all the way inside of him like he needed it to be.
Yeah, I'm not super big on the play gallenhsak decided to make there. I think that was
he was doing great until he went through the doorway. It was like, okay, like play far back enough that rockets won't really touch me, tribal won't touch me, and I can go for a machine gun anytime he pops out. And then close range like that, yeah, things are gonna get messy, gonna get dangerous. But Sib just waiting for it, and he gets the frag. What the orb? What? What? Just like baited him right down onto it. Like, all right, come on down. Boom. Goes the dynamite.
Yeah, that was...
that was looking so good for gallenhsak for a moment.
Yeah, I think honestly he probably was a little frustrated. He knows that last play was not the most ideal way to use his stack.
He watches MasterChef. He knows that he can't afford that. Oh my God, that rocket to push him out! Not even the rocket frag midair, but just the push out. Even better.
Look for it. Check it, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
I mean, I would just be kind of just laughing my tits off if I had made that frag, so I wouldn't be caring too much about items.
But he's a professional.
I guess.
He's a professional.
Whatever that means these days. Oh, jeez. But yeah, there's a bit of revenge there from Sib. Mining laser, drilling down the dino.
It's just... Yeah, I mean, I think Sib's use of clutch versus gallenhsak's particular lineup with the Sorlak and the Ranger and the BJ is pretty impressive. It's tough to deal with 3 things that can effectively reduce you to nothing, either if your shield is up or if it's down. I mean,
yeah.
This is
and almost
messy.
the same situation, but there's gallenhsak. I thought he was going to get slapped around by that rocket, but yeah, just a little bit of health, getting some back from the BJ passive. I prefer active BJs myself, but gallenhsak getting back up on the armor at least. 2 seconds to Mega. He's not really going to have the time or the angle for putting much pressure on it. That's going to be going back over to Sib. We hear the rocket jump, and gallenhsak's expecting it, but he doesn't have anything to really do with it. He doesn't have an LG. He's going to be feeling that pain a lot right now.
Oh, double shotgun, double shotgun, double shotgun. No.
Guess not. Guess not.
GG's.